now that all of our templates are set up, all the new drawings should be fine, but all the older ones, you know, you're going to have to go into and make sure it's fixed. I've been updating mine, like if I get a task or something, I fix the leader settings. So you go into here, basically step 1. If these aren't created because it's an old drawing, this one's only going to be there. The purpose to have 2 different scales is if you have like a site plan that's an overall site plan and you have to call out something, and then you have a grading and drainage plan that's at 10 scale to reflect, you know, more detail. Then that would be the point of having 2. All the drawing templates right now have, you know, just basically a 10 and 20 scale. It's really simple. At the end, I'll show you how to change them. So then, when you first start, it's just going to have a standard. So you're going to want to create a new one, and then you want to name it, since there's already 10 scale, I'll do a 30 scale, just to show it, the difference. To start with, so if this, you can start with basically a base. So if you want to, it's going to be a standard in the beginning, but obviously there's a 10 and 20 scale, so you can choose those, but I'll choose standard because I'll go through what you actually have to change. The rest of them are already set up to be done. So we'll create a 30 scale from scratch, which is standard. I always just start here, work left to right. You're going to want to change your color always to white. This is for your leader, so you see your leader format in the left tab there. Then you want to go line type. This is always going to be continuous. Line weight is fine to be there. Here's where you're going to change to 0.15 for a closed filled, basically just an arrow. We use 0.10 for dots. But these you just want to keep them this because it's easier just to change it in AutoCAD later to do the dots. So then you go to leader. So this is all correct. Then you go to the next step, which is leader structure. You always want to make sure this is 2. That's all. It's just default, but that's what it should be. Always unselected. These 2 should be selected. This is going to be set at 0.15. And then this is where you change your scale at. So we're doing a 30 scale, so we're going to do 30 there. There'll be times where you use these, but that's more like an advanced thing that will come up blue moon kind of thing. For the most part, you just want to use this setup.
Can you tell them what the landing is?
Oh, the landing is this right here. So that's the landing. So if this was at 0.36, it's 0.36 inches
like
in paper
bigger
space.
Than your leader. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to just make it 0.15 just to make sure it's scaled appropriately to the rest of it. So then you go into content. M-text is always what we want to do. You want to go in here and change this to C100. There might be times where this could be different, but those are rare instances. You know, like a building call out, we use C175. For some reason, you can't fit it in a building setting. It's ugly. You could do a leader, but for the most part, it's going to say with C100. The text color can be by block or layer. That's not a huge issue. This is where you want to change as well. You always want this middle of text. Again, there'll be some circumstances where that might be different, but for the most part, this is what we want. Middle of text, landing gap is the distance between the end of your line
and the text.
And then the text. So we'll just leave that at 0.09. And that's it. I mean, it's really quick, real simple, and that's it. And again, if you want to come in here and you have a 40 scale drawing, real easy just to go new, using the 10 scale or 20 scale or whatever is in there already. Then you can make that 40 scale, and you only have to go in here and change one option, and that's going to be your scale. So once it's all set up, if you need more scales, that's why I only did 2, because you don't want to like too populated, but it's that simple. It's one switch. So that's the difference between using new and modified. Now the set current button, that's pretty obvious. Whatever one you want to set current to be your pick. So say I set a 30 scale current, it's gonna be a 30 scale leader. Whatever's current is gonna come up. And if you want to change it even faster from scale to scale, you can just do this as a drop down menu. This will add a leader, so if I want to go in here and go and this is a M text, so you can enter and you can have many lines as you want, and that the landing is always going to be dead center. So if I want to go in here and you're calling multiple callouts with the same note, you just click on the leader. You do this little button right here, the add plus sign, and you just click on it, point, and do as many. So I can do that, and if, say you had too many, you just go in here and then just select, and just delete it. So, and then these aren't used too often. Basically, you can just take 2 leaders and stack them on top of each other so they line up exactly. These 2 aren't going to be used very often. You're going to use these quite a bit. And also the editing if you have multiple scales. Does anybody have questions?
So when you move the text, you have to, it moves everything.
Yeah, so
like,
if I were to go here, and the cool thing, another thing I should mention is, see how it's right aligned right now? Even if you go in here and say justify left, it's still going to say dead center of your text, and it's not going to change anything but what it justifies. So it's still going to attach right where it should, and even if you move it, and see how now the leaders are on both sides if you have that. Before, if you didn't have a multi-leader, you have to manually move them over and set them up, as where multi-leaders is going to allow it to do everything automatic.
That was the question.
You raised your hand too soon.
Now, can you use the properties box to change them? Like you said, the building one, you only use it once. Do we need to create a new style, or can we just change it
you can
in
change,
the properties?
Yeah, you can change, but be careful, because if you go up in here and then you...
if you change it in the settings, it'll hold in the settings.
Right, what I'm saying is the properties box on the right there, can
Yes.
you just change
Yeah,
it
you
one
change
by one
it like
basis?
normal.
Yeah, you can change this to go...
You can change the text style right there to
You
like
can change the
175.
text style,
You can change everything, basically.
and then it'll only associate to that one.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where you would change to the dots as well.
Yeah, so if you want to go in here
Got
with a dot...
So the dots are still at 0.1 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he grabs the grip, he can move the text with the grip.
This?
Well, all the way over, and like if you were to go all the way left, everything would pop back to where it's supposed to be, or all the way to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing about multi-leaders. Everything automatically updates to the new position.
I like it. Is there any way to have it change the justification of the text
Yeah, you just...
without like just gripping, and just will it recognize that like, hey, all the leaders are on the
Oh, it
right
changes.
side now?
Yeah,
should
it
the
will
right
change
justify?
with it. Usually, except for when I changed it, it's going to change with it. But because I manually overrode it,
Oh, I see.
got
Got
it. So I can do that.
Well,
This whole left-hand thing is hard. So it will automatically shift it. Yeah, and then until you. Let me see.
I think you're asking about justification.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's shipped by itself.
that's what I'm waiting to see here. Here it is.
It's just the leader
See, it does-
to
so
change
does it-
different size, but I don't think that's
But I think it's because he overrode
I think
it.
yeah, it's because I overrode it. So
He
if I
overrode
so if you
it.
don't, it
Oh,
will
I
So
see.
if you do a
Yeah.
new multi-leader.
so if I do a new one, I believe it should be. I guess I should have done another one here. So if you don't override it, it will go back to normal.
Ah,
I like that.
they like.
So it makes it easy. Makes it a lot easier for everybody. And so yeah, anybody else have any questions?
So how do you fit your annotation symbol in there?
What do you mean by
Like a hex or?
just on the side of it.
Yeah. You have to drag it in.
Yeah, the annotation's still gonna be the same.
Yeah.